first down, and that will wrap up the first quarter of play. Adrian Lunsford trying to make the play. And we'll be back with Texas Terror football here on UPN 20, where the score is the Terror 7, the Pikes 7. Back with you, Dan Patrick and Doug Dawson here in the Target Center. And Doug, a 7-7 score. This is a good start for the Texas Terror football team, particularly if they can get it in now. They've been this close 18 times this season and have not been able to come up with a touchdown. They need one right here. They absolutely do need one right now. And this is a fantastic opportunity for them to get it in the end zone and get a lead. You know, so often they have been coming from behind late in the game and they've been very close, but they need to jump out on a team and be able to cruise in the second half. It's first down. Robert Hall really throwing to no one. Blackshear and Troy Dickey back there. Here's a look at first quarter stats. Doug? We got Texas with 87 yards. Really, Texas outplaying them in the first quarter, moving the ball well. As we see, they're about to cap it off hopefully early in the second quarter with a touchdown, but just doing a super job. And we see just a lot of improvement from the first game when they played Minnesota. You know, if you're wondering, the only time in the second quarter that the Terror have had the lead this year here on UPN 20 has been against Milwaukee. Let's see if they can come up with the lead again in the second quarter. Touchdown! Tyrone Thurman. The little guy comes up with it again from Robert Hall. That was a nice catch, Doug, twisting around behind his back. Absolutely great catch. Robert Hall put the ball, and I tell you, he's been able to count on Tyrone Thurman all the way back to their college days at Texas Tech. And Robert Hall saw him open, and he said, I'm going to get this ball in there, and he just hummed it in there for a great touchdown. And just I tell you, they're looking good on offense. 13-7 as Richard DeFelice will try and put the Terror up by 7 with the extra point attempt through those 9-foot uprights, and it's up and it's good. And the Texas Terror take a 7-point lead, 14-7. Stay with us here on UPN 20. We'll be back with exciting Texas Terror action in just a moment.
Chevrolet and the Texas Terror would like to thank you, the fans of Houston, for your support in our inaugural season in the Arena Football League. Thanks, Terror fans.
Sunday night on UPN 20 at 7 p.m. One of my favorites, Charles Bronson in Death Wish 2 as he hands out his own brand of justice to the street gangs of L.A. Watch Charles Bronson take care of business right here on UPN 20. And, you know, I have to, Doug, wish my wife a happy anniversary. Tonight is our 21st anniversary, and we're spending it apart here tonight. And what makes me think about it, our first date, I took her to a triple feature of Charles Bronson films. She didn't know who the guy was. So tomorrow night, we'll watch Charles Bronson together and celebrate.
Death Wish, that's correct.
21 years. And the kickoff from a man who's getting married tomorrow, Richard DeFelice. And the Texas Terror cover. And the Minnesota Fighting Pike will put it into play on their own 7-yard line. Now, Richard DeFelice earlier this season in the Summit asked Rena to marry him at halftime. She said yes.
That was definitely one of the highlights of the season.
One of the highlights of the season.
I'll tell you, we get one of the few standing ovations we've had in the Summit this year. An exciting time for those two young people starting off their lives together.
We wish them the best tomorrow. Ricky Foggy back. You don't see this much, Doug, in a shotgun formation. Reggie Brown with the completion gets away from Maurice Smith and knocked out by Troy Dickey and Darrell Lane out on the side. We have not seen a shotgun formation very often this season. They've tried a little bit of everything.
I tell you, I think that comes from an experienced quarterback. So often, when I was playing with the Oilers, if Warren Moon wanted to go into shotgun so he could see the field a little bit better, they'd let him. Ricky Foggy's been in the Canadian Football League for 8 years, played at the University of Minnesota back all the way in 1985. That's my generation. He's an old man. If he wants to be in the shotgun, they say, go ahead and take it from the shotgun. And he completed a good pass there to his receiver, Reggie Brown.
So you're saying you're an old man?
I am an old man. For football, I am. That's correct.
Foggy still back in the shotgun position. And looking for Reggie Brown again, and he has him again. Maurice Smith with the tackle. That will be short of a first down.
Tell you, he's pretty deep in that shotgun. He's about 7 yards back, throws that sidearm ball. A great completion for about 9 yards to Reggie Brown. Reggie Brown, you can tell, is kind of his go-to guy. But I tell you, Ricky Foggy back, I think he feels like he can see the field a little bit better from shotgun. Doesn't feel like they're rushing him so quickly.
Sure takes the heat off the pass rush. Alvin Ashley in motion, looking for Allen. And Allen's going to waltz, prance, dance, slide into the end zone to tie up the score. That's the second time, Doug, as we've called the men in motion. Reggie Brown on the previous touchdown, as we called Alvin Ashley in motion. They've been wide open crossing the field.
I tell you, Ricky Foggy just throws an absolute bullet, and Alvin Ashley makes just a great move on Kendrick Bell. And I tell you, when you see him do that about 2 yards short, you almost want to run up and still hit him. But they did not do that, which was good, because that would have been 8 yards for Minnesota.
Looked like he was trying to be Deion Sanders out there. All he'll have to do is get a 40,000 golf cart. Maybe he can be halfway there. Ty Stewart up into the net, and that ties the score. Folks, I think we're in for a good one tonight with a lot of fun here on UPN 20, 14-14. We'll be back. Stay with us. And they're hot tubbing it here in the Target Center. Texas Terror Football, an exclusive property of the Texas Terror Arena Football Club and UPN 20. KTXH TV, any rebroadcast or use of the video and audio portions of the telecast without the express written permission of the Texas Terror and KTXH TV is prohibited and will dunk you in the hot tub.
I tell you,
and those feet aren't smelling good either. I
tell you, being in that hot tub, watching it up on the big screen up on top, that would really be pretty fun.
Scoring play, 3 plays, 43 yards, 220. It didn't take the Fighting Pike very long to knot up the score at 14-all with 10:58 to go. There's Ty Stewart and friends back there. I don't think she's part of the kickoff coverage team. Yeah, Ty called for a pizza, by the way, right before the kickoff. And he'll grab a bite after it hits the net, and it misses the net. That's a great break, Doug, because, of course, the rules mean when you miss the net, it comes out to the 20-yard line, and that's where the Terror will put it in play.
And we have a happy fan there that made a great catch. And Ty Stewart's probably tomorrow in films, he's probably going to blame it on his ankle that he sprained in warm-ups. But here we see that fan makes a great catch, and he is pumped up. In the Arena Football League, if the ball comes to the stands, it is your $90 souvenir that you get to take home with you.
They've gone up 15 lately, huh? They were 75.
Retail. I mean, you got taxes. I mean, it's a lot.
Yeah. Do you have to report that on your income tax if you get a football? I don't think so. No.
I think you do.
They've been putting a lot in the stands in the summer. Of course, Tampa Bay coming up August 2nd. Get your tickets for the finale with the Terror. And Robert Hall, what a hit and a drop, unfortunately, by Tyrone Thurman, who got helmeted right on the that point, right on the top of the head, right there.
Yeah, right on the helmet. Just a big hit.
Tried to catch the ball.
And he's kind of up for it, trying to tuck down. And I mean, you could hear that hit all the way up here as Tony Harris hit him. And I guess Tony Harris is 5'10". I mean, he's going to hit him on top of the helmet. For those of you who have not followed Texas Terror that much this year, Tyrone Thurman is 5'3", 150 pounds. He was about as big as the 4th grade neighborhood kid, and yet he's out here competing and doing a great job.
And a terrific player. Troy Dickey in motion. Robert Hall looking for Troy. No, he looks off Troy. Now back to Troy. And nice fingertip grab right off the turf. He looked away from Troy and was looking for Rodney Blackshear deep for the end zone, but coverage made him go back to Troy.
And I tell you what the great sign here is. Early in the season, we just had a tremendous amount of problem. Texas did, protecting the quarterback. And that time, Robert Hall took a little step left, but he had a lot of time to go away from his primary receiver and catch and end up seeing Troy Dickey in the right on a short pattern as a secondary receiver. So that's terrific protection by the offensive line.
Robert Hall out of Texas Tech. It's 3rd down and about 4 yards. Looking for Blackshear and touchdown, Texas Terror. Another Hall to Blackshear combination. Doug, these guys are excited.
These guys are unbelievable. The 8th touchdown catch by Rodney Blackshear in the last 3 games. Robert Hall and Rodney Blackshear used to do it every single day in practice at Texas Tech University, and they've finally been together about 7 or 8 weeks, and they're doing it all game long. Rodney Blackshear, I talked to a defensive back, Brian Dubisky out of Texas Tech in 1991. He played with both those guys, and he said Rodney Blackshear absolutely runs the best patterns of anybody he ever covered, even guys that are playing in the National Football League. So he can get open, and he did that time.
Touchdown number 12 on the season, and most of those, Doug, have come late in the season for Rodney Blackshear, as he has gotten his timing down with Robert Hall. And Richard D. Felice makes it 21-14, the Texas Terror. The Minnesota Fighting Pike about ready to take the kickoff. In search of lost gold.
I tell you,
Lee Van Cleef and Eli Wallach co-star in the Sergio Leone Classic. The good, the bad, and the ugly next week, right here on UPN 20. Come on, Cowboy, what do you want to say?
That kind of describes our booth, you know? You got me, I'm the good, and then you describe the bad and the ugly.
Wah, 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 wah.
All right, hey, we're having fun tonight because we have the Texas Terror up on the Minnesota Fighting Pike 21-17 as Mr. D. Felice about to kick off.
And it's deep off the top of the net, and this is a live ball, and it's covered by Kevin Guy down on the 5. That was up for grabs, and Rodney Blackshear was close to it. Blackshear 2 TDs on the night already.
I tell you, Richard D. Felice before the game came up and said, Doug, look how low the middle thing hanging down. What is that thing called? The scoreboard hanging down over the middle of the field is. But he basically said, you know, normally he kicks off from the middle of the field, but this week he said, it's too low, I have to kick off from the side. And that was a phenomenal kick. That thing was at the very top of the net, bounced back almost into the field of play, and they almost got a big break.
There's Richard D. Felice, again getting married tomorrow. He didn't even seem nervous, Doug.
No, he didn't.
Foggy back up under center this time, and he's wrapped in the end zone. Reggie Brown with the completion. Foggy took a shot by, I think it was Wayne Dixon that drilled him, but he looks like he's okay. That will bring up 2nd down.
I tell you, Reggie Brown looks awfully good. I think they're giving him a lot of respect as they're playing pretty far off of him there. Rodney Blackshear's scored a couple touchdowns, doesn't want to give up any, so he's kind of giving him a little bit of a cushion, and Foggy's hitting him underneath for a pretty good 8-yard completion.
2nd and 2, and they've mixed it up so far tonight. They've gone without a huddle. They've gone from the shotgun up under center, pump fake, and Kevin Guy wide open beats Maurice Smith. And that, if they make the extra point, will tie the score up. And this is a shootout tonight, Doug, between 2 expansion teams trying to say which one is better.
I tell you, that was a terrific pattern. It was an out-nut pattern by Alvin Ashley. He does a little pump fake. Ricky Foggy does. He turns up, and Maurice Smith just barely got beat by about a yard, but a yard's all it takes when you have an experienced quarterback like Ricky Foggy. Puts it right on the money. Touchdown, the Fighting Pike.
And you're right, it was Alvin Ashley with the reception, not Kevin Guy. Ty Stewart now in for the extra point. The hold of Jeff Lutz. And he misses to the right. And that will keep the Terror in front by just a skosh. 21-20, 6:28 to go.
Courage Under Fire is the best reviewed film of the year, a masterpiece. Siskel and Ebert give it 2 thumbs up. It's powerful and highly entertaining, says Gene Siskel. 4 stars, the first serious Oscar contender of 1996.
I'm gonna find out the truth, I guarantee you that.
And Rolling Stone magazine calls it one of the best films of the year. Denzel Washington, Meg Ryan, Courage Under Fire, rated R. Now playing only in theaters.
Just a skosh, as I said, Doug. Just a point, just a little bit.
I tell you, it's going to come back and haunt them. I mean, we are going to see a one-point victory tonight by the Texas Terror, or my name is not Dan Patrick's broadcast partner.
Is that what you go by?
That's what I go. Hey, I mean,
It's on the back of all your suits?
Absolutely. I mean, when I say that, I mean, I get a tremendous amount of respect, especially at the station that you work at. You know, that's the only place I really use it, to be honest.
Well, Ty Stewart, who we said at the top, sprained his ankle. The last time he missed all of the nets. That's missing 69 feet, folks. Now he misses the extra point. Let's see if he can foul off one more time. This one will come off of the net down to Tyrone Thurman. Little Tyrone up to the 10. Oh, hammered. Looked like a fan came out of the stands. Actually, it was just the Fighting Pike on the coverage. 2 plays, 45 yards, 1:59 in time. The Minnesota Fighting Pike haven't fooled around getting back in the game every time Texas sprints out ahead by a touchdown.
I tell you, this is what the Arena Football League's all about, though. High-scoring contests. We had a team score in the 90s a few weeks ago, and this is going to be a scoring battle. And I tell you, with Robert Hall and Robert Blackshear and Tyrone Thurman, I'm going to bet on Texas.
Movement in the line.
I tell you, last time this happened, it was on Texas, moved a little bit on defense, and they gave it to Minnesota. So they better be offsides against Minnesota if they're going to be consistent.
Waiting for the call
on the defense. And they decided to be consistent. I like these officials. They're doing a good job. Have you noticed this year, Dan, that every time that Texas gets a call, I feel like the officials are doing a good job? I wonder what that's all about.
As an offensive lineman for years in college ball in the NFL, you probably felt the same way, didn't you?
Hey, the defensive linemen, they're brickheads. They're not very smart.
You never held in your life, did you?
No, never.
Robert Hall, 8 for 12 on the night, 85 yards. Looking for the little guy, Tyrone Thurman, across midfield. Boy, I'll tell you what, Kevin Guy pushing back a little bit.
I tell you, Dan, Tyrone Thurman lowered his shoulder on Kevin Guy and ran him over and gets up, and Kevin Guy pushes him just because he's saying, you know, that's ridiculous. A 5'3" guy runs me over. But take a look at this. Good protection. Robert Hall stands back, hits one of his favorite receivers, and Tyrone Thurman lowered his head, and he gets up bowing and talking. He doesn't run guys over very often. When he does, he's going to let you know it, which was a great play by Tyrone Thurman.
See, Tyrone has an opportunity to run over them or under them at 5'3".
Exactly right.
There he is in motion, the near side, and Robert fake pumping to Tyrone. Has him wide open now, and he beat Alvin Ashley that time. I think Ashley may have stumbled down, leaving Ty open. That's a first down to the 5.
I tell you, they're going to move the ball all day long like this if they'll continue to get phenomenal protection like Robert Hall had on this play. I mean, he stood back there, took a little step to his left, but he delivered the ball 3 seconds before anybody was even thinking about getting there. Look at the protection that he had. And when you got guys like Tyrone Thurman out there, juking, moving around, you're going to get open as long as you can protect your quarterback. Terrific job by the offensive line.
And that offensive line, Derek McKinley, Kevin Harris, Wayne Dixon, down to Lloyd Hill on the 1. And they stopped him there. They'll make it second and short. A little pushing and shoving.
I tell you, you got it.
And there's a flag being thrown out of camera range. And there's Kevin Guy again, who was mixing it up before with Tyrone Thurman. Looks like he's out for a fight.
Well, I tell you, this is going against Texas, and it's a costly error because it moves them all the way back to the 9-yard line. You know, Lloyd Hill's got to keep his composure. He can't do things like that, but you almost can't blame him.
After the play was over, personal foul on the offense.
You know, personal foul on number 80, Lloyd Hill, and you can't, it's hard to blame him because on this, take a look. They end up holding him up in the air, and really late in the play, the officials have got to protect him. They've blown it for about 3 seconds, and here comes a guy really late and hits him right in the...
How do you call that against the Texas Terror? That's a late hit.
Right in the ribs.
That's a late hit.
It absolutely is, and guys like that, Lloyd Hill, I mean, that's his career that they're flashing in front of his eyes, and he doesn't want to do that.
I told you not to give those officials too much credit too soon.
Well,
Robert Hall looks for Lloyd again. Now looks for Lucius, and he's got him. Touchdown, Texas Terror. Lucius Davis on the receiving end for Robert Hall's 4th TD pass of the night.
Terrific play. Robert Hall just looks terrific, keeping his poise, completing. I don't know how many in a row that is, but just looks terrific. Little crossing pattern here. Well, I guess Lucius Davis was the wide receiver on the left and comes across, takes a big hit in the end zone. That's what these wide receivers, they get a chance to catch a touchdown. They don't mind taking a hit like that. Terrific pass and catch, and we have another touchdown for Texas.
Richard DeFelice trying to extend the Terror lead to 8 points. Of course, there are 2-point conversions in this league, but this would definitely put the Terror up by 8. Oh, missed snap. And, you know, Doug, that's a shame, because since you can't rush from the outside, they could have set themselves a little bit better, but...
Absolutely, they could have done that. Yeah, Richard DeFelice shouldn't have acted like he was going out in a pattern. We see Robert Hall, tremendous concentration, tremendous poise. He's got a ton of confidence in his offensive line, and we see Lucius Davis taking the big hit, making the big catch for a touchdown. But that is a big extra point that Richard DeFelice missed. It threw him off a little bit by the snap.
Folks, don't forget, there's another game left in the Summit, the finale against the Tampa Bay Storm. Fan Appreciation Night, August the 2nd, a couple of weeks from tonight. Be there, as the Texas Terror want to say thank you to the great support they've had in a tough season without a win. The fans have really been great, and they want to thank you that night. The House of Horrors, run for your life and your seat, August 2nd against the Tampa Bay Storm, one of the very best teams in the league. So it'll be an exciting game.
They really have. We see the scoring drive, 4 plays, 40 yards, great touchdown reception by Lucius Davis. And I tell you, Dan, the players are the ones that appreciate the fans the most. I mean, obviously the organization and the coaching staff, but nobody appreciates it more than those players. And they've commented to me, I mean, the fans have really stood behind them all year long in a tough season. And that's why they have kept fighting and kept playing. And we've seen so much improvement this year, as we see a big lead tonight, almost at halftime.
This is the best half of football they have played all season, defensively and offensively.
Well, defensively, they need to stop them here.
But still, only giving up 20 points in the half. They need to make a stop here, but they've played. This is the best half of football all season. Alan Ashley sticking the ball out over the 10-yard line, brought down by Jimmy King. Yeah, the fan support at the Summit this year has been terrific, Doug, and what has impressed me is the fans have really been into the games. They've had a lot of fun, and I know the Terror have been disappointed. They have not been able to deliver a win, but I see a real solid future for arena football in Houston, that they'll grow. Not only will the team grow from here, but the fans will grow.
Well, it's just a fun game to come to and bring the fans. I mean, bring your family.
They're back in a shotgun position. Once again, Reggie Brown circling in motion, and that's the man that Foggy looked to. And every time they circle, of course, there's always a man in motion, but they've made a looping motion behind the quarterback. They've done that 3 times, 2 times for TDs, and that time for a successful completion. The Terror need to be looking for that.
I tell you, good rush there, but take a look at Lloyd Hill here. He gets his guy back. Look at that whack. Kind of late in the play, as we see the snap coming up from the center on the shotgun, and a terrific rush by the newest addition, James King, to the Terror roster. Good hit on Ricky Foggy, and things like that will come back, and Ricky Foggy will start looking a little shorter, looking for that rush.
Bruce Lesane with the handoff. Gets into Terror territory. 1:51 to go in the first half. Of course, there'll be new clock rules with 1 minute to go. The clock will stop in the last minute.
Say, this is the time for the defense to stand up and be noticed. Offensively, they just really look terrific. And right here, they need to really put a stop to them. I'd be surprised.